Goodfellas. If there is a more popular mob movie out there, short of The Godfather, of course, I can't think of one. Now, I'm going to say right up front, I am not a Martin Scorsese fan. I know that means most of you will probably stop listening right now because I know that he's revered as this godlike filmmaker who can do no wrong. For the most part, I don't generally care for Scorsese's films. That being said, I love Goodfellas. How can you not love this film? It's such a great classic mob film. Despite the fact that Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci are in it, neither of whom I'm a giant fan of, the film really just works on every level. Scorsese really hit one out of the park this time around, and I'm actually disappointed that he won the Oscar for The Departed, a movie I really didn't like, rather than for Goodfellas, a movie he actually deserved it for. That being said, let's get to the stuff that you really want to know about. How is the Blu-ray? Because let's face it, we've all seen Goodfellas, and if you haven't, then you know you need to at least. And chances are good that you love this movie just like I do. So is it worth the upgrade to this new 20th anniversary edition Blu-ray version of Goodfellas? And of course the answer is yes. Yes, it is. But first of all, it comes in the beautiful Warner hardcover book packaging, which I do love. You know, you get a nice full-color 34-page book with photos and film facts and film bios, and while the information included within that book is nothing really groundbreaking or that you can't get from watching the supplements on the Blu-ray, it's a really nice package, and it looks great on your shelf, and it's fun to flip through it, and I really enjoy it. And then on top of that, you get the picture quality. Now, this is a film that is 20 years old. It's not a film you would expect to look brand spanking new on Blu-ray. But guess what? It kind of does. Obviously, there's a little bit of grain in the picture, which is actually the way you want it to be, being this is a Scorsese film. And of course, there are some kind of darker color scenes. But again, that's the way the movie was shot. Overall, the image clarity is fantastic. Colors are saturated really nicely. The grain really kind of preserves the cinematic feel of the movie. And watching this movie on Blu-ray is a very cinematic experience, which is exactly what you would want with a movie like Goodfellas and a director like Scorsese. So in my book, this is an A-plus transfer, even if it's not the cleanest, most spectacular transfer that you would expect from something like Avatar or 2012 or movies that are really shiny and clean. Now, the surround soundtrack is a different story, and it's not a bad soundtrack. Again, it captures what the film is about, and that's the most important thing. But it is strictly a Dolby Digital 5.1 mix. It's not a Dolby True HD mix. I don't know that it would have made a huge difference in a movie like this, but again, you might have wanted a little bit more. Dialogue is very clean. The surround sound is used when it needs to be, but for the most part, you're going to see your front speakers are going to get more of a workout than your rear speakers are in this particular case. Now, let's talk about the supplements. For the most part, there's nothing particularly new. In fact, there's nothing on this Blu-ray that you can get that you can't get somewhere else. But it is nice to get all of these things in one place in this superior packaging. So, you get 2 commentary tracks. The first one includes the cast and crew, including Scorsese, Ray Liotta, Lorraine Bracco, Paul Sorvino, Frank Vincent, the screenwriter Nicholas Pileggi, and then producers Ivan Winkler and Barbara DeFina, as well as cinematographer Michael Ballhaus and editor Thelma Schoonmaker, however you say her name. Everybody knows who she is. She's Martin Scorsese's go-to editor. Then there is a commentary track with Henry Hill, the real Henry Hill, and a former FBI agent named Edward McDonald, which is also interesting for anybody who has an affinity for mob-based movies. On top of that, there are 3 featurettes called Getting Made, Made Men, The Goodfellas Legacy, and The Workaday Gangster. And then there's a storyboard-to-screen comparison called Paper is Cheaper Than Film, which a lot of Scorsese fans, of course, will be very interested in seeing. And then you get the film's theatrical trailer. Now, on top of that, there's a bonus DVD, not a Blu-ray, but a DVD disc, which includes a feature-length documentary called Public Enemies, The Golden Age of the Gangster Film, which looks back, of course, at the great classic gangster films from the 20s and 30s. As somebody who loves those films, this is a really great extra feature that I'm glad was included in here. You can purchase it separately, but again, it's a nice addition, and it's a very fitting addition for a movie like Goodfellas. And then on top of that, there are some gangster-themed classic Warner Brothers cartoons, several of which include Bugs Bunny. So those are fun as well. A little bit fluffy as an extra, but hey, if they're going to throw it on there anyway, why not? They're fun to have. So, Goodfellas, ultimate mobster movie, one of Scorsese's absolute best pictures in my opinion, and really kind of a must-have, even if you already own it on DVD. Blu-ray is the way to go with this particular film. Not surprisingly, Goodfellas, the 20th anniversary edition comes. Highly recommended.